Welcome back, friends. Today we are going to study about the kinematics of machine. The introduction part. What is the kinematics? What is the kinetics? What is the dynamics? Next, what is the introduction? What is the mechanism? What is the machine? What is the kinematic links and terminology of kinematics? And also we are going to study about the inversions. Okay. So first of all, in our last lecture, we had already studied the introduction of kinematics, but let's get revise or repeat this same portion of the last lecture. And also, we are going to study about the inversions, types of pairs, and types of chains. And also, we are going to study about the degree of freedom. So, let's start. So, first, starting of the kinematics of machine, we have to understand the concept of kinematics and dynamics. What is the kinematics and what is the dynamics? Where kinematics of mechanisms is the concern with the motion of the part without considering how the influencing factor affect the motion. Okay, if any system is a steady or in moving condition, we have to study about their motion. Okay, we are going to study about the motion of the mechanism or movement of the mechanism without force or mass, or without the analyzing the force or mass which is acting in the system. Is this study is called as kinematics, or we can say that the study of the system, the study of the system, or the study of the mechanism for motion of the part without considering the external forces or external mass which is affect the motion is called as the kinematics. Okay, so kinematics deal with the fundamental concepts, where kinetics deal with action of forces on bodies. Okay. Now, what is the dynamics? Dynamics is the combination of kinematics and kinetics. Means in the dynamics, the study of the motion is also included, and we have to study about the external forces which is acting on the body. Right. So dynamics of the mechanism concern the forces that act on the part, both balanced and unbalanced forces, taking into the account the masses and acceleration of the part, as well as the actional forces. Right. When the body, when the mechanisms is in the motion or active due to the external forces or due to its operation, the unbalanced force and balanced force are taking place, right? But due to the external forces, there is some kind of acceleration also included. So total study about the mechanisms which concerns the force that act on the part, both balanced and unbalanced forces, also the acceleration of the part which is due to the external forces is called as the dynamics, right? Next, the basics of form or basics of the kinematics of the machine is included mechanisms and machines. Okay, mechanisms and machine both are different words, right? Mechanism is a different kind of terminology, and machine is also a different kind of terminology. Mechanisms means a simple simple structure which transfer the load from first link to the last link, right? Whereas the machine is a mechanism. You can say a machine is a mechanism, but in that the external work should be done by the mechanism. Any kind of mechanical work should be done by mechanism. There and then you can say it is a machine. All machines are mechanism, but all mechanisms are not machine. because with all mechanism you can't generate the output, or you can't be generate the mechanical work as an output. So you can't say all mechanisms are machine, but you can say that all machines are mechanisms. Okay, so the word mechanism has many meaning. In kinematics, a mechanism is a meaning of transmitting, controlling, or constraining relative movement. Right? Means when more than three links are connected with each other, having relative motion with all the links, and if you give the external force, or if you give the movement of to the first link, then their relative movement should be transferred to the last link. Then you can say it is a mechanism, else it's a structure. Okay, means the if the kinematic link arranged such as the movement, such as the movement can't be transferred to the other link, right? The links are arranged such that, or such as the movement can't be transmitted to the last link or to the another link, then it's called as a structure, right? But in the mechanism, the relative movement or movement should be transferred from first link to another link, or you have to transfer that movement from last link. Then you can say it's a mechanism. Movement which are electrically, magnetically, pneumatically operated are excluded from the concept of mechanism. Right? The central thing for the mechanism is rigid body connected together by joints. Next, what is the machine? Machine is a combination of rigid or resistance body form and connected to that they move with definite relative motion and transmit force from the source of power to the resistance to the power plant. Means machine is also arranged type of links, means more than three kinematic links arranged such as the input force is transmitted to the last link, and we can get the output, or we can generate the output force which is required, right? A machine has two functions: transmitting definite relative motion and transmitting force. These functions require strength and rigidity to transmit the forces. Next, classification of mechanism. There are three kind of mechanisms are available, but we have studied about two mechanisms. First one is the planar mechanism, and second is the spatial mechanism. Now, what in the planar mechanisms, all the relative motion of the rigid body are in one plane or in parallel plane. Okay, and in the spatial mechanism, if there is a relative motion that is not in the same plane or in parallel planes, the mechanism is called as the spatial mechanism. In other words, the planar mechanisms are essentially two-dimensional, while spatial mechanisms are three-dimensional. This is a one kind of example of mechanism, right? There are two planes are required to construct this mechanism, and two planes are perpendicular to each other. So this mechanism is called as the spatial mechanism, right? Now, what about the kinematic link? Kinematic link is a terminology which is very important to study the kinematics of machine, and the next terms like kinematics pair, kinematics chain, and degree of freedom. Right? If you want to study it easily, then you have to study, or you have to understand the kinematic link importantly. Now, when you generate, or when you construct a mechanism or machine, then the important part is kinematic link, right? If you have a mechanism or a machine, then each part which has relative motion to the other part. Okay, each part of machine which has relative motion to other part, then the part is known as kinematic link, right, or kinematic element. Means to be a kinematic link, a link has to be relative motion with each other link. Then and then you can say it's a kinematic link. A link may consist of several parts which are rigidly fastened together so that they do not move relative to one another. Right? So if you have a two links which has no relative motion to each other, then you can't say it two links are kinematic links, right? Now, next types of links. There are three kinds of links exist in the kinematics link. First one is the rigid link, right? A rigid link is one which does not undergo any deformation while transmitting the motion, right? When the mechanism or when the external force is applied to the machine, then what happens? The force which is transmitted to first link to the another link, right? During this force transmission or during the movement transmission or motion transmission, due to the external force, the link does not change or does not deform. Then the link is called as rigid link, right? Strictly, if we are doing practical work or if we are thinking as a practically, the rigid link does not exist. Rigid link does not exist. However, as the deformation of connecting rod, crank, etc. of a reciprocating system engine is not appreciable, they can be considered as rigid link. Right? Connecting rod, if you are taking the example of connecting rod, crank or piston, right? It does not deform in the kind of operation of four-stroke engine. But you can't say it's a rigid link. Why? Because due to the stresses or due to the bearing pressure or due to the gas pressure, it is going to deform a long period. Okay, after a long period. So you can't say it's a rigid link. But if you ignore the long period, if you ignore the long duration for the bending due to the external forces, then you can say the connecting rod crank and crankshaft is the rigid link. Next, flexible link. Flexible link is one which partially deformed in manner not to affect the transmission of motion is called as the flexible link. As an example, the belt, rope or chain which is used to transmit the power in belt drive, chain drive and rope drive. Okay, as an example, if you see at the cement factory, the transmission of the cements at one place to another place, they are using the belt drive or chain drive, right? In the belt drive, there are two sides in the belt drive. The upper side, upper belt is tightened, or whereas the lower is slack side, right? First, upper side of belt is a tightened side, whereas the lower side of the belt is slack side. Due to the slack side and tightened side, the belt is going to trip. Belt is going to trip. The trip is the phenomena of the belt drive. We are going to study in the fourth chapter, belt chain drive. What is the creep? But today, the creep is due to the slack side and tighten side repeatedly there are some portion of a crack due to the stresses, right? It is called as a creep. Now, this creep, the transmission of motion is not going to affect. Transmission of motion is not going to affect. So this link is called as a flexible link. Now, third one is the fluid link. A fluid link is one which is formed by having a fluid in a respected and the motion is transmitted through the fluid by pressure or compression only. Like as an example, if you have a hydraulic press or hydraulic jack or hydraulic brakes, right? In the hydraulic press, you are going to apply the force at the another side of the piston, and due to the hydraulic forces, due to the force transmitted with the help of hydraulic coils, the force or the weight which is lifted, right? So the hydraulic fluid, which is hydraulic oil, which is transmitted the force, which is transmitted the force, were applied at the input. So the hydraulic oil is called as a fluid link. Next, kinematic pair. Now, what is the kinematic pair? So, first, if there are two links or elements of a machine when in contact with each other are called as pair, right? This is a simple pair. If two links are connected with each other or contact with each other, then it's called as a pair. But for the kinematic pair, it must be in relative motion. Okay, between two links which are contact with each other has to be relative motion with each other as completely or successfully constrained. The pair is called as the kinematic pair, right? For having the kinematic pair, the two pair must be in contact as the relative motion between each other as completely or successfully constrained, then the pair is called as kinematic pair. This is some kind of kinematic pair. This is the example. First one is the two link which is connected with each other, having the reciprocating motion with each other. Second one is the rotary motion. Third one is the oscillatory motion. Right? So all kind of links having relative motion between each link. So the pair is called as the kinematic pair. Now types of kinematic pair. First one is the lower pair. Lower pair. When two elements of a pair have a surface contact when relative motion takes place. Right? Where two links are connected with each other and relative motion takes place between two links, then the contact between two links has to be surface contact, then the pair is called as lower pair. Like in this example, there are two links which are contact between each other. Sorry. Okay. The link A. Suppose this is the link A and the horizontal part is the link B, right? So both link A and link B are contact with each other and having a surface contact, the top surface and bottom surface of the horizontal link and the for the vertical link, the hole is contact with the horizontal link in surface contact, so it's a lower pair. And in the cylindrical pair, like a shaft, which is connect by the sleeves, like a shaft which is connected by the sleeves is also surface contact. Surface means the periphery of the shaft is contact with sleeves. The periphery of this shaft is contact with sleeves. So the surface contact between two links. So the pair is called as lower pair. Now, for the higher pair, when two elements of pair having a line or point contact, when relative motion takes place and the motion between the two elements is partly turning and partly sliding, then the pair is known as higher pair. Right? An example is the journal bearing, or you can say is the ball bearing. In the journal bearing, there are balls or rolling elements which is known as balls for the balls bearing, right? The inner race and outer race between inner race and outer race, the rolling elements are moving. Rolling elements are moving. So the relative motion takes place between two links, and also it's a partially turning and partially sliding. Why? Because the inner race is moving rotary motion, and the balls or the rolling elements which are moves also a rotary motion. So there are the partially turning and partially sliding motion. Also, there is only a point contact at a time or at a moment. Only a point contact is take place between two links. So the links is called as higher pair. A pair of friction disc, tooth, gear, belt rope drives, or ball or rolling roller bearings is the example of higher pair. Now, the types of constraint motions. When the motions between the pair is limited to definite direction, irrespective of the direction of force applied, then the motion is said to be completely constrained motion. Okay. As example, if if two links are connected with each other as a square bar, suppose the square plate having square hole, a square plate which is having a square hole, and the square bar which is inside the square hole, then what happens? The motion is limited. The movement of this link, the movement of square bar is limited to the only reciprocating motion. The movement of the square bar is only sliding, or you can say is a reciprocating motion. Then the motion or then the uh, motion is called as completely constrained motion. So motion of the square bar is only constrained as the external force is applied. Right? If you are applying the external force in the reciprocating motion, then the sliding bar or square bar is sliding to the reciprocate. If you are applying the force, external force perpendicular to the square bar, then no motion is generated in the square bar. Only the motion is generated if the external force is applied parallel or horizontal force, right? Then this motion is called as constraint motion. Next type is a incomplete constraint motion. Next type is incompletely constrained motion, right? Suppose a square plate having a round hole, right? We are seeing or we are studying about the square hole, right? If the square hole is there, then only a reciprocating motion done by the square bar. But here now this round hole is available for the square plate, then the shaft, a cylindrical shaft, is fixed in the round hole. Now, if I am going to apply a horizontal force, I apply a horizontal external force, then the shaft is reciprocate reciprocate within the round hole. But if I applying the twist, if I applying the twist, then what happens? The rotary motion is also produced. In this shaft, if I applying the twist, then the rotary motion is also produced, and also we can get the reciprocating motion by applying the horizontal external force. Then the more than one motion is generated, so it's called as incomplete constraint motion. When the motion between a pair can take place in more than one direction, then the motion is called as incompletely constrained motion. The change in the direction of impressed force may alter the direction of relative motion between the pair. Now, third one is the successfully constrained motion. In the successfully constrained motion, first it's a incomplete constraint motion. First, first example for, or you can say the motion is first incomplete. First is incomplete, but incomplete constraint motion is converted into the completely constraint motion by applying the external force. By applying the external force, then the motion is called as successfully constrained motion. As an example of foot step bearing and shaft. When the motion between the elements forming a pair is such that the constraint motion is not completed by itself but by some other means, then the motion is said to be successfully constrained motion. The motion of an IC engine valves and the piston reciprocating inside an engine cylinder are also the example of successfully constrained motion. Now we are going to study about the kinematic chain, right? In the introduction part, we had studied about what is the kinematics, what is the dynamics, what is the kinematic link, what is the kinematic pair, types of kinematic link, types of kinematic pair, types of motions. Now we are going to study about kinematic chain, right? When the kinematic pairs are coupled in such a way that the last link is joined to the first link, right? If more than two links are connected with each other, right? More than two links are connected with each other as the first link is connected to the last link. Okay, this is the first condition. There are three conditions to be form a kinematic chain, right? There are three conditions to form a kinematic chain. First is there are more than two kinematic pair or the kinematic pairs are coupled in such a way that the last link is connected to the first link. Second condition, all kinematic links which is connected with each other having relative motion. Okay, this is the important condition. All the links must be in relative motion with each other. Third condition is the force which is transmitted to the first link must be transmitted. The force which is applied to the first link must be transmitted to the last link. Then and then the construction or the pairs is coupled is called as kinematic chain, right? In other words, the kinematic chain may be defined as the combination of kinematic pairs joined in such a way that each link forms a part of two pairs and the relative motion between the links or element is completely or successfully constrained. Then it's called as kinematic chain. Now, if you generate a kinematic chain, if you generate the kinematic chain, then the equation or the number of link which is required to construct the kinematic chain is L is equal to TP minus 2, sorry, L is equal to 2P minus 4, where L is the number of link and P is number of pair, right? Since in a kinematic chain each link forms a part of two pairs, therefore there will be as many links as number of pairs. Another relation between the number of links and number of joints which is constitute a kinematic chain is given by the expression of J is equal to 3 by 2L minus 2, right? J is equal to 3 by 2L minus 2. With the help of this equation, if the number of joint or LHS is greater than RHS, that will be considered as log chain, right? If the number of joints is greater than 3 by 2L minus 2, then the chain is called as log chain, right? In this chain, in the log chain, the force, neither force or nor motion can be transmitted from first link to another link, right? In the log chain, neither force nor motion transmitted from first link to another link, so it's called as a structure. If LHS is equal to RHS, if the number of joint is equal to 3 by 2L minus 2, that will be considered as 1 degree of freedom, right? We are going to study about degree of freedom next part. So next move ahead. LHS is less than RHS. That will be considered as unconstrained chain, right? If the value of number of joint is less than 3 by 2L minus 2, then the chain is called as unconstrained chain. and then you can generate work after applying the initial external force to the first link, right? The example of finding the chain is constrained or unconstrained, or it's a lock chain. Consider the arrangement of link A, B, B, C, and C, A as a triangle, right? Means three link is used to construct a mechanism, right? There are three links and there are three joints and there are three pair. First pair is 1 to 3 is a first pair, 3 to 2 second pair, and 2 to 1 is a third pair. Three joints A, B, C, and three link is 1, 2, 3. There are three joints, three pair, and three links. So from the equation number 1, L is equal to 2p minus 4. So 3 is equal to 2 into 3 minus 4 is equal to 2. Means LHS is greater than RHS. LHS is greater than RHS. Now from the second equation as a form of a joint is equal to 3 by 2 L minus 2. So the value of joint is 3. Now solving the equation 3 by 2 L minus 2, we can get 2.5. So LHS is greater than RHS. So this is a lock chain. This is a lock chain. As we said, LHS is greater than RHS. This is the first condition. LHS is greater than RHS. That will be considered as lock chain. So neither a force or nor a motion can be transmitted from first link to second link to third link. Then it's called as a structure. Then it's called as a structure, right? This is no kinematic chain. It's not we cannot be called this is a kinematic chain. We cannot be called this is a mechanism or a machine. Why? Because for the mechanism or machine, relative motion must be transmitted from first link to second link to third link, and third link to first link. So this is a structure, right? So from this example, we can say that to construct a mechanism or a machine or a kinematic chain, to construct a mechanism or a machine or a kinematic chain, we should have minimum number of links are 4. Minimum 4 number of links to require to construct a kinematic chain or mechanism or a machine, right? If we have less than 4 links, then we can't be construct a kinematic chain or a mechanism or a machine. Next is degree of freedom, or you can say it's a mobility of mechanism. It is the number of input required to describe the configuration or position of all the links of the mechanism with respect to the fixed link at any given instant, right? The degree of freedom is number of independent coordinates. Number of independent coordinates which is available in the mechanism. Simple language, right? As a Grubler equation, we can find the degree of freedom as 3 into L minus 1 minus 2j minus h, right? Now, this is the example of degree of freedom. So, first is the 4-bar chain mechanism, or you can say its number of links is 4. Then we can say the degree of freedom equation is 3 into 4 minus 1 minus 2 into 4 equal to 1, right? Simple mechanism. First example is the 4-bar mechanism. We can get 1 is the unit. One input to any one link will result in different motion of all the links, right? Means suppose you can transmit the force on point D, then you can get the result at all the points, right? You have to require to apply external force at one point to transmit or to generate the work at all points, right? It is a degree of freedom. Now, inversion of mechanisms. when you can generate or you can construct a kinematic chain or a mechanism, right? uh, let's get take example. If you construct a 4-bar mechanism with arranging a kinematic link, right? Now you are changing the place of one kinematic link. If you are changing place, or you can rearrange the links such as the relative motion between all the links is available, or it's generated, right? uh, or you can regenerate a kinematic link such a way that the arrangement of the first kinematic chain is different, but the transmitting force or relative motion is available in the mechanism. Then you can say both mechanisms are inversions of each other. This is a simple way of discussing of inversion of mechanism. If let's take an example for the inversion of mechanism. Suppose we have a simple mechanism. This is a 4-bar mechanism, right? There are 4 links: first link, second link, third link, and 4 link. I am applying the force in this link, on this link, then we can get the result at this, right? So there are kinematic relative motion with all the links, right? So this is a mechanism. Now I am rearranging the links here: first link, second link, third link, and fourth link. There are also 4 links, right? But we have rearranged the links such as the work which required or work which is generated are different for both mechanism, but both mechanisms having equal links, right? So both mechanism is called as inversion of mechanisms, right? Means in a simple way we are saying that after rearranging the kinematic links, after rearranging the kinematic link, we can generate a mechanism such a way that we can generate a different kind of work output. Then we can say the both mechanisms are inversion of each other, right? There are, this is the first example of 4-bar mechanism, right? 4-bar chain, quadric cycle chain. This is the second example, is the beam engine, or you can say it's a crank lever mechanism. This is the third 4-bar chain mechanism, is a double crank mechanism, or you can say is the coupling rod of a locomotive. And the another example is Watt's indicator mechanism. You can say it's a double lever mechanism, right? Single slider crank chain, right? Single slider crank chain is a modification of basic 4-bar chain, and it consists of one sliding pair and 3 turning pair. It is usually found in reciprocating steam engine mechanism. This is also one kind of inversion of 4-bar mechanism, and this type of mechanism converts rotary motion into reciprocating motion of vice versa, right? There are many kind of inversions of single slider crank chain. First is the pendulum pump or bull engine. Second one is the oscillating cylinder engine. Third one is the rotary internal combustion engine. Fourth one is the crank and slotted lever quick return motion mechanism. And fifth is a for quick return motion mechanism. Now, during these 5 mechanisms, you have to study or you have to read the working of all the inversions are different, right? Working of all the inversions are different, but the kinematic links which are used in the mechanisms are same, or you can say the number of kinematic links which are used in all the different all the different inversions are same. So you have to study only the working. You have to focus the working of all the inversions, and you have to remember the name of every inversions, right? Inversions of double slider mechanisms, there are elliptical tremels, Scotch yoke mechanisms, and Oldham couplings. This is the elliptical Dremel, the Scotch-Yoke mechanisms, right? There are number of links available, and this is the all-down coupling, right? So that's it. Thank you for watching the video.